Looking for something to do this weekend? Make up for lost time and check live music off your bucket list. Vivid Seats has concert tickets to all your favorite artists at great prices, and all with a 100% buyer guarantee. Plus, they're the only ticketing company where you can earn rewards with every purchase. No one else has that. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today and use Concert Now for $10 off your first $100 purchase. Vivid Seats. Experience it live.
Officially 1 hour until your favorite show premieres. Time to get some snacks delivered through Instacart. Okay, let's get some popcorn, seltzer, chocolate-covered almonds, and... Wait, did they release the whole season? Better cart some ice cream for the 2-part finale. When your day should be ending but a new season is starting, the world is your cart. Visit instacart.com or download the app and get free delivery on your first order. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Additional terms apply.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this early edition of One Nation Radio this week. I'm James Boyd, and here with me I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Carry on my wayward sons. Don't you cry no more. Do 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 do. I'm in a great mood.
Yeah, I see you're in a great mood, so let me kill it real quick. So they were talking about. So you saw all the stuff about like. The clock ticking and talking and ticking and talking, and I saw on the screen it said "carry on." And I was like, "Carrying."
I think somebody said that was watching it with
and I was like, "This is obviously this like hopefully only I thought of this," but I was like, "Bro, can you imagine if Karrion Kross had brought his ass up right then at that moment instead of the fucking Elite? Like, obviously, different company, not fucking possible, but just the mind meld that would happen in that stadium. Like, they might have rioted. They might have acted like when Vader beat Inoki.
Like, they might have rushed the ring. They would have had to get Death Triangle out of there. Like, fans would have stormed the ring, stormed the building. Shit would have been fucked up. Wouldn't have been no more matches.
Oh,
but,
boy.
Yeah, very happy this weekend. Good God. Lots of big news. Lots of awesome shows up and down all across the world, pretty much. This is your AEW Full Gear review. James, what are your overall thoughts on the show?
I thought that the show was more than very good. You probably have to say great. It's easily the third best pay-per-view that AEW has done this year, behind Revolution that we were in person, and Forbidden Door. But outside of two of the best shows of all time, this was a really good fucking show. I thought that it suffered late because of the formatting, which happens occasionally every so often. Their formatting kind of gets them in the end, in the back half of some of their pay-per-views because they're going 4 hours. But when you start out hot like that, you gotta have to remember that and whatever else. I think that the last 3 matches for me were all very good, but were more push the car forward as far as the storytelling elements or as the decisions of who won and why they won than the actual action of the match. In those matches, by that point, after the phenomenal start, it felt like it was slowing down the momentum of the show. I would have liked it if they known like where this all headed to have formatted the show differently, but we are where we are. But overall, just, kick-ass show.
Yeah, I thought it was a hell of a show, and I thought it was a show that was a really feel-good show and a lot of different things. Like a lot of this feels like AEW. Like this feels like the red hot promotion that it's been like most of its existence. As compared to like, the All Out and maybe Double or Nothing, there was like kind of just a different weird energy that was around. And the Elite, coming back, and the way they return definitely helped with that. It was a big night for the Pillars. It was one of them winning the world title. And then, superstar performances by Sammy and Jungle Boy. Darby is the one that gets to do the no-sell of the Jeff Jarrett guitar. So it was a lot of just stuff that was like that made, if you're a diehard AEW fan, you were looking at this card up and down, like maybe aside from the Brit thing, but like, yeah, man, this is, the Acclaimed. Like there's a lot to be happy about on this show. I'll say it's a great show also. Like, I don't think it will not win like a show of the year contest or anything.
No, I don't think it'd be nominated, but it was still a great show.
Yeah, really great show. So, but yeah, man, I guess we were in Newark, New Jersey. So
you want to run through the pre-show stuff? Because obviously the Akiyama match was awesome.
Indeed. So there was a 10-man tag, Best Friends against the Factory with Danhausen and all that, and just foolishness. Rocky Romero getting a check, of course, coming through when Rocky's in town. Got to put him to work a little bit. Spread out the yen on the table.
Got to get the New Japan of America Booker in there. Gotta make sure everything. Look, he comes through. Look, he's almost. Remember when KCP signed with the Lakers the year before LeBron showed up? It's like
case on the joint.
He gets there. Like he gets there. He tells you lay the land and be like, "Who's available?" It's like, "Okay, bring an Ishii for Wednesday for Jericho at Dynamite." That's how that. I feel like that's how that goes. Like he comes in and once you give Rocky a taste, he'll be like, "All right, let me show you what's available." This particular week or this month.
He opens up his jacket like the man sewing the watches. Like, This is what I got. You know?
Yes. It is even better because he when he does this in my mind visually, he has eye patch on still.
Yes. He looks suspect, But after that we got Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks going over Ethan Page was on commentary for this, set it up. The Starks Page final that we all kind of predicted it's going to be on Dynamite on Wednesday. This was all right. This wasn't like they only got about 10 minutes or 9 minutes. So Ricky was selling a lot, was wearing the shirt still, and I believe he had his shoulder taped up. So Cage put him over pretty big.
Okay. So you still on Ricky Starks?
Yes, because this was not like some, it still wasn't, I feel like he's going to win the tournament, and, I'm wanting to see a main eventer. Look, I'm wanting to see a world championship level guy. And I don't see that right now, but he can always change that. So,
I would say given the way the main event went, it makes sense for Ricky Starks to win it. Then it was Ethan Page, because I don't think they're going to go that MJF versus the Firm route when you have the Regal thing. Like, for all we know, like, Regal will patch it up. So we'll see. But yeah, I think if they are really invested in Ricky, they could do that match. They could screw Ricky and then set the table for Ricky to redeem that and get down the line later, get another match. So I don't think like all is lost. Like, this has to be the biggest thing. This could be the start as opposed to then. Like, when we looked at like the Logan Paul Roman Reigns thing, is like if this is if this is someone they actually believe in, isn't some just publicity stuff thing, they could do that match, Roman wins, and set Paul on the road to redeem himself over time.
Good news about Logan Paul, I heard. I heard his ACL isn't actually torn. It might have just been an MCL. So he could probably be back. So the end of the pre-show, though, was Eddie Kingston taking on Jun Akiyama. And Eddie Kingston was just... he was in tears. This was his dream match. He said Akiyama was the guy that, when he was 18 years old, he wanted to fight him. And just between Friday night and Saturday night, this was a nice, like, little 2-match kind of series. I kind of actually like the Rampage tag a little bit more. Big news on that front. Konosuke Takeshita officially signing with AEW, so he's working, I believe it's a dual contract type deal. So he'll be available for DDT as well as AEW. He'll be able to win now. He'll be able to presumably get a push. So like you add him in with a Bandito, with a Roosh, a lot of new interesting wrestlers that I think people are very willing to wrap their arms around. And these are people that I feel are like top level workers right now, can step in main events. I have no concerns about Konosuke Takeshita. I have no concerns about Bandito, especially for the type of wrestling I like. And Takeshia's, I think, a very unique situation for AEW. He kind of is I believe he's like their first like Japanese wrestler that's gonna actually receive like some type of push, and they got a chance
in the men's single division,
the men's singles, and it's I think it's very important for them to set the standard, especially we're not getting this guy when he's 38 years old. We're not getting this guy when he's 40 and counting down and on a retirement thing. Like, this dude can presumably carve most of his wrestling legacy in America because he's that young still. And like, the cool thing about him, like, this is not no rookie. This is like a experienced world champion level guy that's like 27 years old walking in. So the English is what the English is right now, but the language of wrestling rules all, especially in AEW. This guy like got over in defeat all year. Had people begging for him to win like some of these matches, and he was facing Hangman, Moxley, Kingston. Like, he wasn't like facing no bums essentially, and I think that's really cool. And they ended up getting the win over Kingston and Ortiz, and I like that match a lot on Rampage too. Yeah,
I'm with you on everything you said.
But the pre-show, like, Kingston ended up getting a win over Akiyama, and I imagine that Kingston was begging to lose that match, but something happened, and it just didn't work out that way. But after the match, he jumps on the mic and he's like, "Baba Inoki Masawa." Like, I cut that whole thing. Like, that's a whole meme. But just, I hope I made you proud. And then, like, they allow Eddie Kingston to just start going into salesman mode for the pay-per-view. And he's just like just a fool, like, losing his mind. But he was like, "Well, they told me I got to go," and he throws the mic down and then he leaves. But yeah, that was the pre-show. We did get questions. I don't know if you want to do the questions before the card, James, or we can do the whole thing and then do the questions.
Yeah, let's do the questions, I guess.
Okay. I am pulling those up right now.
Like, I saw a bunch of like things I was tagged in, and I was like, I can't read none of this because like somebody's gonna fuck around and spoil something for me that I haven't watched yet. So I just like saw that notification thing and kept being annoyed that it was there, and I was like, okay, just gonna ignore it. And then I quickly said, I'm tired of seeing this thing. Clicked in it, clicked out of it, so it just moves off my. Yeah, just swipe. Just get it away. Just get it away. Get it away. Don't risk temptation. Just get it away.
So first question comes from Bruce. Bruce, he says, do you feel the camera and audio work has evolved over the past 3 years at a satisfactory pace? What would be something innovative AEW could do with their presentation to make the viewing experience even better?
I almost want to say yeah, because I feel like their audio is better.
The audio's for sure better.
The audio's better. And I think, quite frankly, the way they mic the ring and you can hear the action is better, especially around the corners. You can hear it better. Now, they still miss, every third dive or whatever else.
They miss Warlow getting turned on.
Yep. So that's still an issue. But what I will say is when the first match started and they put a cameraman inside the cage, which forced them to have to stay on the guy inside the cage, beautiful. All I need is 3 cameras. All I need is 3 cameras. One camera that's going to be the camera that stays on you the whole entire time. And then, depending on whatever happens, you have to switch to change the angle because you can't see someone's face or whatever else while someone's in the hold or they're not facing the main camera's direction. Outside of that, just stay on one fucking camera. And that kind of forced them for most of the match to have to stay on the camera guy that was inside of the cage. And that helped the match. That absolutely helped the match. So, I feel like, when you have all these cameras and you have all this technology, I feel, you see it from WWE experience. Sometimes, less is more. And they don't take advantage of it. They're we have all these options. So, let's do all this. And they show you 5 replays. All right, they're already up off the ground in the wrestling again. We're missing the action in the ring because you want to show replays. Fuck that. So, yeah, I feel like compared to when they first sorting this stuff out, there would be just, lights out all the time and stuff when we first started. There were not legit, but there were regular production issues on AEW, broadcasts. They were all figuring it out and they're better now. I still think they're not as tight as a New Japan or a Stardom show at this point as far as production, but I mean, outside of that, for America, they're about as good as, anything outside of NXT ever was.
I would say as far as something innovative, I would do a lot more of the free cameras, the stuff they would do in the NFL, that XFL actually invented. I would do a lot of stuff like that, a lot more wide shots to accentuate the spirit of each building they're in.
They did do that during the main event, I think. During it reminded me of, well, actually no, I take it back, but yeah, they did do that at times while they were in holes and they were showing the whole entire crowd of Newark or whatever. So they did do that more than they normally do. I would like for them during matches. This is just still from Japan. When you're after a big double down spot or whatever else, or both people are collapsed or whatever else, just go and it's a title match. Just zoom in on the belt a little bit and then come back. Just cut to the camera, to the picture of the belt, and then cut back. Let you know this is what they're doing it for. But outside of that, I mean, they're doing pretty well.
MJ does PR. What borough is Waka Tsukiyama from?
So I actually had a thought about Waka in New York today because watching Julia and we talked about how obviously she's half Italian, but she was born in London, but how come we don't talk about her as being the prime minister in the way we talk about Waka being the king of New York? But yeah, I would just say Manhattan. I was leaving it at that. I'm not finna say she's from Brooklyn or Queens. I'm not because I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So I'm just going to say Manhattan, leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
You want to say she's from Bronx?
Nah, we don't do that. Waka is not, sounding like Ice Spice.
We're Brooklyn at. God damn it.
Muzza. So how would you rate Jarrett's performance out of 10? And would you want to see him in a Sting-esque schedule?
I mean, he did everything I thought he'd do. So whatever that is. So a 10 for 10 out of that. He's not, the thing with Jarrett is he's not a bum. He's just mediocre. That's the thing with him. So yeah, he did his job.
Yeah, he did a lot of A lot of Memphis type shit. He was nowhere to be found when the pin was going down. He just made
That's
it
a good
more.
Point. He was out of there, bitch.
Just Jeff Jarrett is not about to lose, man. But yeah, like, you know, for Jeff Jarrett just cracks me up. So yeah, I'll go 10 out of 10, like based on like what we want from Jeff Jarrett. But as far as like somebody he's excellent at working the crowd still, getting them riled up and stuff like that. So it's just a real way. Like Jeff Jarrett like stepped to a dude that was there. It was crazy, man. Like I'm like, hey man, like he'll hit you with that guitar, man. He's also the gun show still. Yeah.
So So this what I give Jarrett credit for. And this because like as you mentioned, all the Memphis, all the old Carney stuff. When Sting finally showed up and shout out to Sting for like wrestling like as if he's going to go like mow his own lawn. He just like that man was dressed like he was doing yard work.
Yes.
Right. Like anyway,
why he wasn't wearing the gardening gloves this time?
I mean the mechanics gloves are the gardening gloves.
Yeah.
Same difference. But when Sting finally showed up and he was facing he was by the ropes. And he was like looking around and all of a sudden he turned around and thought that was one of his stings. And he turned back. He was like, oh shit, that's the real Sting. And he turned back and he was like, fuck. I was like, they don't teach the young dudes this. I'll give them that. They don't teach young dudes how to act like that. The only person that might act like that is like, MJF really. But like, it was fantastic when he was like, oh, that's my, no, that's him. I'm fucked. I'm done. Like that popped me. I laughed my ass off at that one. Yeah.
I would. There's a litany of like young guys I would like to see Jeff Jarrett face. So,
a litany.
Yeah, like
how many? How many really?
I could easily see like him and Jungle Boy. I could see him. I would go for him and Darby in the singles.
I'd be too afraid to look, man. Every time Darby, went projectile missile on him, I was worried like he ain't gonna want to catch this little dude doing all this crazy shit with his crazy ass. Like, look, if he land on his head, I guess that'll learn him something for doing this stupid shit. Like, is there any way Jarrett, aside from being, because they always say Jarrett is like overwhelmingly positive, aside of his normal overwhelming positiveness, like, if he gets around like some, I don't know, Cornette, what do you think he really would think about Darby? He probably thinks like this. He should. It's like, yeah, okay, you got your point, Corny. He shouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. But whatever.
I think Jeff Jarrett actually has a really open mind for wrestling, and he always.
I do too, but I think he also like when he's around certain people. The reason why everyone likes him because he can play the politics of it.
Yeah.
So I think around the people that hate that shit would be like, I see your point, but he's popular.
Yeah.
This is a terrible Jarrett accent, but whatever. Right? That's a terrible Jarrett accent.
Second question from Muzza. Bill Mafia said Jeff Jarrett versus Kenny. Yeah, sign me up. I go with it. Why not?
We don't get enough matches out of Kenny Omega in the last year to be out here wasting on Jeff Jarrett. This man was gone for months and then he showed back up for 19 days. He went on 2 months off. We can't trust this dude to be out here wasting these matches. Stop this now.
We'll get there. But Muzza's second question said, with Swerve now solo, do we give him the Bob Holly push with the All Atlantic title? I mean, why stop there? Like, I mean,
him versus Orange Cassidy would be great. It really would be.
Yeah. Because Swerve he has like this diabolical side. I think that might be pretty interesting with Orange Cassidy. I think Swerve has like a big push in this future, a bigger push in this future though. Muzza's third question is, who would you have MJF's first pay-per-view title defense against? Wardlow, Kingston?
Kingston is good. Wardlow, you gotta warm up Wardlow a little bit more. I think he's kind of cold. Obviously, I think the late deployment of what they were trying to do with him, this way hurt. I think also like, I know they're trying to get him a robbery with Joe, but I want to see what the singles match looks like, because obviously like that trios match wasn't for the best for those three. Like I think all three of those singles matches would be better than what we got as a as a trios match. So I'll refrain from judgment, if you will, on that one. But yeah, I think Wardlow's obviously they took the belt off him to kind of get to there, but that I think that's more further down the line. I think he needs like 6 months to charge up than 3.
Yeah. It's interesting because like there's a lot of television opponents for MJF.
Yeah.
But maybe you can go with like a Hangman would be good for MJF, because like you don't necessarily have to shoot Hangman back up to the top right now. He's a former champion, babyface, 2 young guys, already kind of generational rivals. I would probably go with Hangman if his concussion and all that stuff comes back right. Especially he'll be on a mission to kind of, the last time he got a shot at the belt, he, got concussed. So I think that, and I wouldn't necessarily be as worried about the dynamics there.
Bro.
What's up?
I think my fucking phone just pulled me on the main event of historic crossover.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's keep going. Pretend you ain't see it. Pretend you ain't see it.
Pretend that's not how that works. Fuck, man. Like you know how like the algorithm like will send like articles to your phone.
Yep, like Google Alert type.
Yes, it just fucking did it on a fucking push notification of all fucking things.
Technology,
asshole.
Little bitch. MJ does PR. Can you guys play the "fuck CM Punk" chants audio and then react?
Can we just react instead of having to get our shit copyright claimed?
Yeah. No, yank this shit. We will cover that inside of the review of the match.
Yeah.
Sir Sam, he said, how many laps of your house did you do in the Elite Return Ridge Epic entrance? I didn't do laps necessarily, but I was jumping up and down, kind of running in place, energized, fist pumping, all that stuff. So I was pretty happy to see him. So I thought it was a legendary entrance, kind of like, with the music and like the lighting and like the way it came off in the crowd, and everybody kind of knew what it was, and mammoth reception. So Sam, also, what do you think is the ceiling for Swerve singles wise? I've been so impressed with him. I can't help but feel he could go all the way.
You asking me?
If you want to take it first.
I think he could be a top star in the company. But like, there's a lot of people that I think that about. It depends on like, right time, right place, right push, in luck with injuries. So, I mean, that's the good thing when it comes to like some of the better promotions we have right now is like, they're loaded with talent who are like, somebody falls, someone's going to make the most of the opportunities. And it's not necessarily like a thing where it's like, you might suck because it might be your favorite that might, be unfortunate if it's their turn and they go down or whatever else. But like, as far as like the flow of talent and people like ready to meet the challenge, I feel like there's a lot of people overqualified in AEW, to be, in a top, in a marquee match, if you will, a money match, if you will. It's one of them.
I think his ceiling is the world champion. And I say that because he is, just knowing what I know about him, knows a lot about wrestling, very well liked, like behind the scenes, which actually means a lot as far as people pushing you and stuff. Very driven to prove people wrong and what people think he can't, what he cannot do. Obviously, we know the wrestling's there. I think, as far as the character translation stuff, if he hits on the right storyline, the right opponent, he's a compelling guy to face other people. I think he will continue to get I think the last like 3 months for him has really opened a lot of eyes on him that might not necessarily have seen him in that light while he was in WWE. They may have just seen him, kind of doing his thing, but never really considered him like that. But now, through that great tag team rivalry, including winning it, how he's kind of conducting himself, like, making these connections in and out of wrestling, like he's someone that you can kind of let represent the company in a lot of different areas that other people can't touch. So I think,
yeah. And also, like, another thing that's very underrated is, like, he has yet to ever show me that he will embarrass you if you put him out front. And there are a lot of guys a lot of acts that are just like, oh, they're eventually going to do something knuckleheaded. Not to say that's in the world, not to say that, like, whatever little bit of knucklehead is something that you could just easily just move over. But, like, I've heard of Swerve. Well, I heard of him as his character when he was in Lucha Underground. We saw him WrestleMania weekend with Sabre. And then, like, ever since then, like, it's just been, like, I've been impressed with him. Always impressed with him. And then you fucking became friends with him. I don't know. Randomly.
What a world.
Right. And then, like, as I'm watching him on TV, I'm just like, he's impressive. He's impressive. He really is. And like, you know, the death row. The hit row thing was impressive. And like, even like the small matches he had with like some of the top guys in NXT at the time, like whether it was with, Cole or whether it was with Gargano or with Roddy, it was like, it was short, but like you could see it as like, if NXT was NXT of like 2 years before then, like he would have been a person that would have been on those takeovers, having 4.5-star matches, having programs with that type of, you know, cream of the crop. And now that's, you know, that NXT is no longer in existence anymore. Like he's here now, and now he's doing it from the perspective of, the tag thing, and like we're off to the races now with him and Keith Lee.
TK got one with him. Like there are people like, you know, that like obviously like as far as the imports, and you look at Swerve's age and you look at his ability, like this is a real diamond in the rough. He's the one they were waiting for. And I'll just leave it at that.
I remember this was like the end of 2019, and they had put NXTers in Brooklyn for SmackDown taping, I think. And Swerve got a match, and Keith Lee had a tag match, and I think Dijak was on the other side of it. I remember watching just because it was, you know, two people that I liked. It was on the thing. I was like, and I was watching WWE at the time, whatever else. So, actually, it was a year-end show. It was like a house show, and they put like the year-end thing, and they put matches that were like dark matches on the NXT year-end show. So I'm watching it, and he's in Brooklyn. They're not really reacting to him, and then he does like the arm break spot, and I was like, and it got the crowd, and I was like, he knows how to wake people up that are not paying attention to him or whatever else, and I was like, I'll keep that noted, and. He seemingly has this kind of stuff figured out as far as like what to do in certain situations. And it doesn't really seem like, obviously, you know, all these kind of matches are really intricate. There's obviously conversation, whatever else, but like when he's kind of on his own, you can kind of see like he's taking his time and kind of like figuring out like what's next to get the crowd and then to get to where he wants to get.
So, up next from, Rambo and Slam Pig gave us a quartet of questions. So he says, were you surprised by any of the crowd reactions at Full Gear?
I was surprised that the crowd was really throughout the whole entire match into Britt versus Saraya, especially given what they were both giving us in the ring. And they were in through the whole entire time. I was surprised. And it was 50. It was a 50-50 crowd. Like I thought that it was going to be overwhelmingly Brit. It wasn't.
Yeah. I think that I pretty much saw everything coming, maybe except the outward vitriol towards CM Punk. I didn't think it would get to that level, but you know. That's the way it went. So, you know, I don't blame those people at all. So,
but the vitriol, if you will, like if Punk showed up and went on a hill run, like people would enjoy the hill run. They wouldn't be like, get him out of the company. I just don't, I think it's, you know, obviously, a lot of people are pissed at him, but like, I don't think it's something where like, we don't want him to ever wrestle again. Fuck him. I don't think it's that.
Rainbow Slamping says, if you're Tony Khan, who are the first couple feuds you're lining up? We already kind of hit that one.
Okay.
The Elite versus Death Triangle is the crack cocaine of weekly television wrestling. No matter what happens as an outcome, what can Tony Khan do to make the next step for that division not be a letdown in comparison?
Bringing Ozzy open.
Yeah. Honestly, there is no, like, you know, what do you do next on this? It is a step down. Like, unless you're like rolling out literally Osprey and Aussie Open are coming back, or you know, you're bringing in Vikingo or something like that, or you're forming some super trios unit with like if Adam Cole is good to go and he's, you know, flanked by somebody, or House of Black's hanging around. So you know, I think those are things you can do. I don't think it will, quote unquote, be as good. Like we're headed, like, you know, we're headed for a top level thing right there. So it's not, you know, just this easiest thing to do, unless you just want to, you know, break the glass and say BCC versus Elite, what's up?
Yeah, and that's still hard to figure out what exactly you're going to be now that, like, they got to change their fucking name.
Yeah, they got to change their name. Like, they're hustling backwards right now. They looking bad right now.
That was one of the weird things about this whole thing is, like, okay, we're pretty sure that, like, Regal's getting a cut of their merch money, right? But, like, the idea that, like, they branded this thing in this way, and then, like, they're just going to change, they're going to have to change it. What the fuck they going to do?
Yeah, look, they looking bad right now in these streets. Like, I don't know who convinced them to do this, but
that's like, no, I don't mind them doing it, but at least get a full year out of it. You know what I mean? Like whatever, I guess, whatever. You know, AEW kind of moves fast. They do.
He says, should Tony Khan give Eddie Kingston 5 minutes to run down the card for each pay-per-view? Yes.
Sure, why not? I mean, I would say no if that means he's going to be on every pre-show because he needs to be on main cards. But outside of that, then sure, why not? If he wants to just come out after the last match of the pre-show and do it, fine.
Yazora Hart says, what's next for Saraya in the company? She won her match and is a name, so you have to imagine she's going to be pushed. World title seems busy and top heavy. TBS title? Question mark.
I think her and Brent are done. I think it's going to continue.
It felt kind of definitive to me.
You think they're only do one match? They're not going to do TV?
I think they're going to move away from that, because a lot of that stuff was like, if you watch that video package to that video package is massively different than what the actual television leading in that feud was. Like, they were trying to retcon and clean up a lot of the stuff that happened. I think they should probably reassess, send Saraya into more training until it's, you know, time for her, until she feels like comfortable, like she can like hit a higher standard, kind of, but they're probably paying her a shit ton of money, so she's here. so I don't think sending her in there with Jade would be particularly beneficial. I don't see that. Maybe you give her a tag team partner. You know, I don't know who.
I mean, they would do her and Toni Storm. Like, they're absolutely going to do a Toni Storm in Saraya versus Britt in Jamie match at some point on one of these next few weeks. That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, give her a tag team partner so she can split time. So Black Saber Jr. says, could the crowd reactions toward MJF mess up any future feuds? Yes, with MJF being so popular that they booed Moxley. Who would be any challengers that would be cheered over MJF no matter what?
Okay, so I think that we're kind of getting into the Adam Cole, Adam Page in Orlando thing. He's going to be over. Moxley got booed. Like, Moxley adjusted accordingly and worked the match like he was the one getting booed. Like, it is what it is. They still got to whatever story they're going to tell. It's fine. Now, does this mean, like, when they go to, I don't know, like Like if they did Moxley versus MJF in LA Forum, will that happen? No. So it's fine. Like he was 60 miles away from his hometown. So I wouldn't overthink that one. But yeah, he's going to be a guy. He's a popular heel or whatever. So he's going to get cheers. Just wrestle your match. Like we've seen, people that are heels get cheered. It's fine.
Yeah,
and if the crowd chant, I don't do both these atoms or whatever else, but you get my point. Like, just let the match play out. He's going to cheat eventually. He's going to waste our time. So it is what it is.
I think Danielson may be okay as a babyface against him, but he has to kind of tap into something that he hasn't tapped into in a lot of years. Eddie Kingston, you probably I think a common theme will be these people will have to be able to hold their own on the mic, or else they'll be up swimming up the stream, and even when Moxley was a struggle for him. So I don't know. Maybe I don't think it was a struggle for Moxley. I just think he flubbed the go home thing because he flubbed it a couple times. Like, well, what's this? But I think that might be the reason why they went with Ricky Starks, or it seems like they're going with Ricky Starks because Ricky Starks can stay with him on the mic. Ethan Page probably could, but the Ethan Page thing when it turns to you were one of my goons, it's like you were an underling.
Yeah,
that ain't quite.
Yeah,
ain't quite it. Let me see. Other question is, what are the chances Death Triangle pull a 2016 Warriors and blow a 3-1 lead?
I don't think we can do 3-1 lead stuff these days. The last best 7 I can remember was Sheamus and Cesaro, and that was basically what was that, a 2-3 lead?
I think that was a 3-0, and they came back.
And then they went with a tie in the 7th one, and they ended up being a tag team.
Yes. Can you believe the idea of that? I know it led to the bar, and the bar was it was cool, but they did all those matches.
And they give you something undecisive. Yeah.
Yeah. They was just really doing that for sport. Imagine if they don't give us a winner here. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So yeah, I think they should, kind of, they could do Death Triangle wins the first 2. Elite can win 3 in a row. They can tie it up, and then they could do something like that too. So there's there's literally so many different series formats you can do.
Yeah.
You can steal the 2002 Western Conference Finals. You do shit like that. You can do the 2010 NBA Finals. What else they have? And really make the odd number games or matches really mean something. So, they've got a lot to do. And, if anybody's going to figure out how to make this thing compelling still, I would probably go with Death Triangle and the Elite. We're probably the greatest trios teams of this, or some of them of this era or any era. And the fact I say that is because they're already making it compelling. We'll get to it, but as far as that shit, good God. Question from Parker St. James. These questions he sent in were absolutely unhinged. So I'm just going to read them. And then you guys will figure out which ones I'm not answering. Parker St. James at Royal Magic Show says, rate the dump trucks from best to still good. Hater, Rebel, Anna J, Storm, Athena. Number 2, where does Thunder Rosa fit into 2023 AEW? 3, if James is Bowens and Rich is Max, who in Social Suplex is Daddy Ass? 4, how would you describe the local wrestling scene in your state? How do any of these questions fit together?
Okay, let's start with the first one. What was the first one?
Rate the dump trucks from best
Stop there.
to still.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
This is not a horny show, sir.
Yeah, we're not answering that question. Sorry. Now, what's 2?
Where does Thunder Rosa fit into AEW 2023?
I mean, there was I saw some stuff on Twitter about people were people were kind of like happy that Toni Storm lost on Thunder Rosa's behalf, and because of what she said at a press conference. What I remember what she said was that she said that like Rosa said that she was hurt, okay, and left it at that. So like people are using subtext, or they're made up subtext to say that like she thinks she's lying. Right? Is that what's happening?
There's a lot happening. Like, and there's some interesting people basically championing the Thunder Rosa cause. You remember the other week we were talking about the strange bedfellows and politics. It's the same way here. It's like, hold on, why are y'all suddenly interested in this? Like, okay. Oh, because it's on the other side of Brit. Oh, and y'all, oh, I get you. But as far as like her fitting into 2023 AEW,
she's a top act whenever she comes back, if she comes back.
Yeah, like she's still got the championship, so obviously she'll have a storyline to walk back into. She will at least, like, if not go into immediately defending the championship in that unification bout. Like maybe she can get like a couple warm ups because she's been off for months and months here. But it is interesting. Like Jamie has the belt now, so with that whole rumor mill thing that was flying. But if this doesn't tell you this is still Britt's like division, like Britt's like pushing the buttons. Like she recruited like Toni Storm, like that's her homegirl. She recruited Jamie Hayter to AEW. Like this is like, I don't know who Rose's allies are here. So this could be a bad situation to watch. But I would say she still has a place in the company.
Yeah.
Like this isn't like I don't think they can afford to just be discarding valuable women, especially like what the reaction was getting Thunder Rosa into AEW in the first place. So
right, it was like fucking finally.
Yeah, like I just haven't seen enough to where I'm just like want to wash my hands with, and I'm done with this woman. Like I'm not there with y'all. Like
right, especially when it's like, hey man, like it's a pro wrestling thing. Like she's like this level of fucking wrestler in the ring, and like I understand she's a top star, but like I'm sorry, I'll watch a Thunder Rosa match 10 times out of 10 over Britt. Sorry. And if they're upset with each other, oh fucking well, just never wrestle each other. I don't care.
That if James is Bowens and Rich is Max, that I think that's a stretch right there. Like that's like
I don't even get why we would be either one of them. I guess because you're a rapper. I guess.
Is
that what it is? You're the rapper.
I guess maybe the hair, something like that.
I kind of feel like disrespectful. You're a way better rapper than Max Caster.
I wasn't gonna say it myself.
You're a fan of wrestling than Max Caster. Are you kidding me? Then this man said, "Hey yo, give me 4 more bars." And I was like, "Why do we waste our time to get these 4 extra bars? That was unnecessary." and it kills me when he's like, it is killing me like when he's talking about like how bad of a rapper like Swerve is. Like, bro, I've seen the Cypher. I've seen you rap like every fucking week for a year. What the fuck are you saying? This is an absurdity. Like, I understand they like you in the scissor and shit, but like, you are not a good rapper from what I hear from you. You are fine. You're adequate. Like, you're nothing more than that. Like, what are we doing as far as your whack rhymes or Swerving his whack rhymes? Like, bro, what are we doing here? Like, what is happening?
I have a lot of respect for. I've come on this show and talked about my respect for Max Caster's ability and what he's doing in this audience.
And that's really nice that you're doing that. As a person that has no stake in any of this at all, I don't give a fuck about his raps whatsoever. I understand it got him over. That's neat. That's cool. The shock jock stuff or whatever else. But like, that is like that same Cena shit that I thought was corny then, except it's him doing it. And I think it's corny that he's doing it too. Like, I'm sorry. Like, the hit roll thing was so much better. It's unfortunate. Like, NXT was in the shit. It is what it is.
Yeah, but
I will say this. I do enjoy the part where like they haven't actually like talked about hit row at all while doing this whole thing. They just let that thing.
You know what I think that is? I think all those guys are cool with each other.
That could be it.
So, but yeah, I'll say
Rich is a rapper and James is big, I guess. Is Bowens big?
I mean, Bowens is, swole.
He's not as big as Caster.
No, Caster's like kind of got that Billy Gunn thing going on, ironically, where he's huge and you don't realize it.
No, I realize he's huge because his legs are huge. Like that's the thing. Like people think of people's weight, they don't account for like, do you skip leg day or no? Like right. Caster's like has a big lower half. I don't know, man. I don't know. He might have just been trying to be funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if we're the Acclaimed, who's our daddy ass? I mean, I don't know. Like who's like the old white guy that we talked to about pro wrestling?
Dan Coffin.
Oh shit!
What up to Dan? But I'll say this.
That another successful episode of One Nation Radio. Thanks for listening, y'all. It's time to wrap this shit up and go home.
Oh man, these questions. How would you describe the local wrestling scene in your state? It's Florida. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's the bottom of the bottom. Like there are a lot of training schools here, so you run into a lot of like school shows that are around, and people are necessarily like, it's not necessarily like an indie scene here, aside from like Shine or something like that. Evolve used to run here. There is also they used to run FIP around here as well. But after that, there's like very low level indies. So, aside from that, you're like, as far as the Tampa Bay area. Now I don't really know like Orlando's scene like that, but there is like Gangrel on the other side of the state. JB Cool, who's Red Velvet's trainer. He runs like a promotion, Fighting Evolution Wrestling. And I don't know I don't know what is in the Jacksonville area aside from like AEW. So,
same here.
So, Brewhaven says, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would be your interest level, or what would your interest level be if Punk was able to show up after the Best of 7 series and challenge the Elite with FTR?
10. That's the feud to do if you can actually do it. The thing is, I don't think you can actually do it.
I would probably say like 7, because like we answered in the other question there before, the matches are just going to be so much fucking better with Death Triangle and the Elite. And then,
but they're going to just be, the matches or whatever else, but like those matches with a FTR and Punk thing would still be great. Not as great, still be great. But then like the TV would be better because CM Punk is better at TV than like Pac and the Lucha Bros. Just is what it is. Like he's one of the most captivating promos like of the last 20 years of pro wrestling.
So Brewhaven says, if you prefer, is the Best of 7 the most primo Colombian booking in AEW?
Sure.
Yeah, why not? Let's see. I think I got another question here.
I'm just surprised they're actually doing it. Like, it's one of those things where like, yeah, they can always do that, but would you actually do that? It's gonna be fun. MJ, I just hope everybody can stay healthy.
Yeah. MJ does PR, says, now that Kenny is home, give me an estimated time frame until Ibushi shows up to kill Ospreay and the Golden Lovers are AEW Tag Team Champions. I can't estimate Kota Ibushi.
Yeah,
I think that's a fool's errand.
Yeah, like trying to figure out and predict what he's doing.
He might be blowing up firecrackers off his chest or something. I don't know.
I did see that, I think there's a picture of him meeting somebody, and his recovery has gone better since like the last couple updates.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's encouraging to hear that like he's healthier. As far as like him getting back in the ring and all that kind of stuff, I think his last update was that like he's back in the ring, but it's going slow. But this most recent thing sounds more optimistic. But like I'm, if and when he's ready, he'll be ready. If he's not, he's not. If his things with New Japan is straightened out, cool. But we'll see. Whatever. I think that we'll have. I feel like I feel like we'll have clarity eventually on all this stuff. But I'm not, the speculation thing. I think, because he's such a, all-time great. He's such a thing to kind of play in your mind of like, where is he going to land? Like, and the whole idea of Golden Lovers in AEW has always been a thing. Like, even when Kenny had that weird New Japan thing about like New Japan was hiding Ibushi from him or whatever, that one weird vignette thing. But so yeah, like
you were hiding my child.
It would be cool, but like I don't really haven't really spent too much energy on it.
Yeah, it would be dope. But before I can worry about Ibushi, I'm kind of just in the Kenny afterglow right now. So let's get that run going and get him established again, and then when we'll walk that when Ibushi shows like signs of life. Like
going for more than like 2.5 weeks.
Black Friday deals, the gifts are unreal.
Shop JCPenney for thousands of deals so low, no coupons needed. Through Sunday, get up to 75% off fine jewelry. Bring home Cooks and Black & Decker kitchen electrics now $22.99 plus $10 mail-in rebate. And get Memorex home electronics starting at $27.99. We got your holiday.
Shop, JCPenney.
Offers valid on select items 3/11/27. Excluded from coupons. Conditions and exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
Tired of long waits and rushed care at the ER and urgent care clinic? Next time, stay home and let Dispatch Health bring the power of the hospital to you.
I call Dispatch Health. A care team of medical professionals actually come to your house.
They're the same caliber of people that you would see if you were at a hospital or an urgent care.
Dispatch Health can treat most non-life-threatening emergencies.
They can do the x-rays, they can do stitches,
urinary tract infections, blood test, urinalysis, ultrasound.
It's almost everything that they can do at the ER.
You never feel rushed. They're there for you and only you.
I felt like their only patient.
And it costs no more than a trip to urgent care because Dispatch Health is covered by most insurance, including Medicare. See if we serve your home at dispatchhealth.com.
Dispatch Health really went above and beyond.
It's wonderful to have care come to your home.
House calls are back, and they're better than ever. Learn more at dispatchhealth.com.
All right. So let's get to these matches. I know y'all been waiting. So open up Steel's cage match between Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. This was excellent.
It was. So it's one of those like ask and answer things. Like he walks out, Jungle Boy. I was like, why does he have his hair up? And then he gets busted. I was like, oh, that's why he was okay. It's gonna be one of those matches, huh? Okay. Blood did nothing for me, but I think for a lot of people, it did a lot for them.
He was bleeding off the rip too. So it helped a lot. I think, it was, I thought it was really it was a slow paced kind of old school match that with like a lot of big risks and, big slams and obviously the big jump. I pretty much knew the big jump was going to happen. As soon as they announced the match, I
kind of predicted it. Like once I saw him come out in gear, and it's like, oh, his gear's like it's reminiscent of like 90s Shawn Michaels, and he's wrestling like what would have been like a Diesel versus Shawn Michaels cage match as far as his pacing and the stuff he's doing. And then all of a sudden he goes to the top. I was like, I bet it's elbow drop. Oh, elbow drop, shocker. But yeah, it was a great match.
I liked it a lot. I was getting Hell in a Cell 97 vibes, especially like they were doing some of the stuff kind of on the side of the cage. Christian was not able to enter the cage, so Canada is safe.
Boy, look, they teased it though, didn't they? They teased it as soon as they did the thing where like the one ref is distracted because of what was going on in the ring, and all of a sudden like the lanyard thing attached to the key, he slips it out. And I was like, this motherfucker better not get in this goddamn cage. I messaged you. I was like, I know damn well he ain't getting in this cage, and they apprehended this man in the middle of trying to get in. And they ended up outside the cage, and he was, they basically mobbed him and snatched him and got him out of there. So, Canada's safe for now.
I think this was the best match of Luchasaurus' career. And I think this was like the elevation, like the ascension of Jack Perry is like we're going to point to this and be like, yep, this is where it was like, yo, wherever he ends up, like, yo, he came out of the, the tag team and with a huge performance because he needed it. They were, like he's been inactive. He's kind of, had bad injury luck as far as like his opponents, kind of, no fault of his own. And he just kind of needed to get rolling. And I think, unleashing him in AEW as a single will be exciting. I think him and Swerve would tear the house down. We obviously saw what they did in tag stuff. Swerve being a heel, Jungle Boy being a babyface. I think that would be an awesome way to go at some point. And Jack Perry's been on the slowest ascent of the pillars, I'd say. And they've he kind of had the furthest to go. So they kind of started him and brought him along slower. They gave him the going all the way back to the 10-minute draw with Jericho. He used to lose every match. And this was excellent. Like I'll probably go like 4.5 at least on this. Like I could be talked into 4 3/4 on this.
Yeah, I think it's a low 4.5. Low 4.5. Like it's one of the lower top 75 matches of the year in the world. So I think that do you want to see a Christian match whenever he gets healthy?
Yes.
Do you even need to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I would do
does it depend on like how fast Christian come back? Like, do we have to wait if we have to wait a year, do we still have to do this?
I think you got to do it no matter what, just because all the shit that he said about this man, they broke the team up. And it's like tying up a loose end in, Jack Perry's career at this point. So you can take him off, take him away from Luchasaurus, let him run singles for 3-4 months, and when Christian's able to come back, Christian can pop out of nowhere, fuck him over, something, and let him know like, yo, one time only, but like I'm gonna give you one shot at me. If you never beat me, I beat you forever. And then Jungle Boy beats him. After that, and then it's like, yep, I can finally close this chapter, and then and just move forward after that.
Okay, so you said this is Luchasaurus' best match. You meant like singles match, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
I mean, like he's been a part of some awesome tag matches.
That's why I was like, just hold on. Are we underselling how good Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy were as a tag team this year? And is that people
no
have like mind wiped that they were ever good?
Yeah. But up next, the Wayward Sons and the Death Triangle. Man, we got the trios match for what turned out to be the first match of a best of 7. We were not aware of this, and this was one of the best matches of the year.
Yeah,
this was just like Nirvana. Like this was like like the entrances. Like when I saw Pentagon come out with no shirt, I was like, man, he's really in shape. And just the confidence that was oozing on their faces. The Elite's entrance comes very cathartic for all the fans in the building, fans of the Elite. Just miss these guys a lot, and everything feels back whole kind of in AEW with them. There are a lot of people trying to run a lot of bullshit narratives like about them being unneeded and all this other stuff that's just like psychotic, quite frankly, I think. But it's just like the thing that makes AEW different is the Elite.
I think they did an admirable job of staying afloat while like having CM Punk and the Elite out. I think they did an admirable job. Obviously, it got a little wonky in the last, like, let's say, month or whatever else, but it's called All Elite Wrestling for a reason. There's only like staying afloat with some really kick-ass match shows or whatever else that was like great and everything, but like they're established stars you can put anywhere on the card and is believable. And like missing 4 guys like that was a big fucking deal for the company. And 3 of them are back now, so it's obviously a huge shot in the arm. And then they went out here and they had one of the best matches of the year.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
Incredible match. I can't say it enough. Incredible entrance.
And I thought they did
incredible vibes. Obviously, we had the fuck CM Punk chants and the Colt Cabana chants and stuff like that.
I didn't hear a Colt Cabana chant. I must have missed it. I was too caught up in the incredible action. But I definitely heard the fuck CM Punk chant.
Yeah. I thought it was funny. But yeah, as far as the action goes, Wrestling Nirvana. Imagine not liking this. Imagine having to come out here and for your grift, not like a 5-star match. I love the Bucks gear, Kenny's gear. He wore that all out, but he showed up again. That man has a championship tan, by the way.
That's not even a tan. That man is putting that bronzer on him. That man is browning himself. He is blackfishing. Look, he ain't the only one. We'll get to the main event and talk about somebody only doing the front of themselves, not the back. But whatever. Yeah, man. That man, I ain't never seen him that complexion ever before. And he put on his face, and that's why I was like, oh, he was really gassed to be back. This man was like, am I buff enough? Am I ripped enough? Am I wet enough? I don't know. Let me make sure everyone sees it, and he just.
Bro, if you look at a picture of Kenny at All Out 2021 and then look at this year, it's just like night and day. It's like that man clearly wasn't lifting at the end and was trying to hobble across the finish line. This nigga shows up and it's like, what year is it again? He looked like he was in great condition, not miss a step, lightning speed, got his springs back.
The comment section is wild. Kenny Omega and Mandy Rose are the same person.
Wow.
Look, throw V triggers, wear bronzer.
Yeah.
I get it. I see what you did.
Bouncing between blonde and brown hair. Dude, kind of.
Lost in all of this. Kenny Omega hair is still awful.
It kind of looked like
it will never stop annoying me that his hair looks like that. It's like, bro, why are you doing this to us? It's like someone beats his ass with a bottle of peroxide. It's just like, I don't get it. I don't know what he's going for. Maybe if I knew what he was going for, maybe I get it. Maybe there's like some anime character that has like hair like that, and that's what he's modeled himself after, and I'm just unaware of it. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Someone in the comments tell me that his hair is supposed to be after somebody. I don't know.
The hair lore.
Yeah. I think Sephiroth, I think he was all blonde or platinum blonde. So I don't think that's it exactly either.
Yeah, man. But 5 stars for me on this, for sure. And the reason is because obviously incredible moves, incredible action, incredible crowd control,
incredible storytelling.
Dives. I'm getting there. Okay. Incredible storytelling. They set this fucking thing up with this hammer for weeks and weeks, and we thought it was going to be the out for Death Triangle to break up. Instead, this is the thing that makes them win. And the thing is, Phoenix is still conflicted. He threw the shit away once, and then Pac just made one last plea with this man. Please, I beg of you, use the fucking hammer. You've seen what happens when you don't use it. And after Phoenix starts getting isolated and killed, he gets put up for the one wing angel, drops the hammer on Kenny, rolls him up, and I popped for the finish. I was like, this is incredible. And before the match, I was sitting next to Josh, and I was like, he was pretty much sure the Elite was gonna win. I was like, I wouldn't be sure, because they like to do stuff
it would have felt really it. I don't know. So I would stop short of saying the word damaging, but I can't think of a better word. But it would have hurt if oh, we're back now. So just so we're here to take these right back off you, and you never would have got this shot. So congratulations on your couple of defenses or whatever with this belt, and holding the fort while we were off because we decided to get into a fucking fight. Is
this another example of the unselfishness of the Elite?
Both of them. This is for the sorry.
Is this another example of the unselfishness of the Elite?
Yes, James? It is. This is for the best for both teams. That not even the program, but they won this, and then they have something to go after the Elite, and then next thing you know, there's a best of 7, but it was for the best for Lucha Bros and Pac to have won this match. And like, obviously, people are still gonna like this doesn't get them under. Like, this is in the 90s.
Man, a lot of people had to eat a lot of shit, man. A lot of people was like, you know, they just get to walk back into the belts. A lot of complaining, a lot of crying, a lot of cap.
Like, what did FTR section say? Like, they talked about like FTR or like, you know, AEW, Tony Khan, and the EVPs are conspiring to hold back FTR. Meanwhile, they're doing jobs in their first match back. Like, was there anybody have anything to say? It's like, wait, maybe we're just like wrong as fuck.
Yeah, like maybe y'all gotta.
Are they still ignoring the part where like they put over FTR earlier this year in March?
Yes, never happened.
Are they still leaving out the part where like, you know, by all accounts, the title reign they have for the IWGP tag heavyweight tag titles are actually supposed to be the Young Bucks, but they gave it to FTR. Are we still leaving that part out? Are we still ignoring the facts?
Yep, living in an alternate world. Yeah, like FTR balled on Twitter, absolutely insufferable the last couple of days. Just like, what are you doing? Like, they're gonna end back up heels, like at some point. But
as far as the storytelling, like not even just the part where with the hammer, where they tease that like this might be the reason why they broke up. Like, as far as them putting, you know, them teasing the Kenny and Pac interaction. Like, the big thing throughout the whole match was getting to Kenny and Pac, and like Pac like literally was like begging off of it, like at different times.
Spitting in the man's face.
Right. Like, they had the short exchange, and it was heated, and he spat on and got out, and it was mean like you want to see it again, and then like plays off the feud they had, and then like you see, you know, you're in there with Nick Jackson and Phoenix, you're in there with Penta and Matt, and it's like, this is like literally like all of their feuds together, put together in like all these sections, and it was like, I just like, this is
what built the promotion. This is the real AEW. Like, when people talking about, like, you know, when Alchemist is out here doing songs with the Locks, and DJ Premier is making songs for Jadakiss, and they're like, this is real hip hop. This is the real AEW. Like, this is what gets the people up.
Well,
like,
I mean, yes, but for me, I mean, like, as far as like the multi-layer stuff of the storytelling of like calling back to past rivalries, building up, setting up stuff to then pay it off later in the match. Then, as you mentioned with the hammer, like multifaceted storytelling, like they don't get credit for because it's a laser light show, and people like think laser lights are just like dumb moves that mean nothing. When it's like, all this stuff is adding on top of all of this stuff that goes with the cool moves. Like, you're just missing that part because, like, I guess your brain doesn't function fast enough to realize was all going on. It was awesome. Like, yeah, it was one of the cheaper finishes I've seen all year. I still probably have to begrudgingly give it 5 stars. Like, I don't think I've ever been like, I hate this finish and give a match 5 stars since like that June last year Shuri in New Timey match that put the 43 minutes with a double KO. Like, it's one of those like, oh, I hate you fuckers, because fine, here's 5 stars, one of the best matches of the year, get out my face. Yeah, it's one of those.
I was so impressed. Yeah, absolute classic. So classico. The world title in AEW is the trios belt.
If you look at the list of champions, like I looked at it when I wrote out the list, it's like, yeah, they're pretty much the top champions. They're not, but you get what I mean. Like, as far as like you expecting a big match, a great match. Who's more dependable than those 3?
Too real.
Yeah.
Up next, AEW TBS title match. Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose. This was a lot of, imagine you're Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose, and they're like, yeah, y'all got to follow behind those 2 fucking matches that just happened. Yeah, I hate the format for some of this stuff, and I don't know why it can't just be like Japan. I've given up on it at this point. Like, they just think it has to work this way in this country. Like, we have to open hot, and like, you know, then all of a sudden we have to put the lesser matches afterward to just like go out there and die. I don't know, man. I thought this was serviceable for, you know, what was expected. I thought it might go a little shorter. I thought it might be a little bit more hard hitting or explosive. Wasn't, but overall, Jade got the dub.
I thought this match was better than the Saraya in Britt match, and like I was shocked when I saw the cage match. But I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably throw it like 2.5 stars.
Yeah. Shout out to Marina Shafir. Dressed like dressed like a cholo. Dear, coming with Eddie Guerrero, bro.
I saw there was someone in the
dressed like Conan.
Yes, I saw someone in the lowrider, and I didn't pay no mind to it. And the next thing I know, like I see the same person like at ringside next to Victor. I was like, wait a second, was that Marina? And I messaged you, and you're like, yeah, that was. I was like, man, all right, I have no comments for. I have no comments for that. I was just surprised. That's all I'll say. I was surprised.
Yeah, it's wild, man. But yeah, up next we had the ROH title match, Fatal 4-Way: Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Sammy Guevara. This is excellent too. Yep. Took a little while to get going, but once it did, it was just pairing off into every combination, and each of them looking pretty good. Danielson and Claudio was there. Jericho and Guevara finally got to it for like the first time. And that was like, something that kind of shook the building a little bit. The insane spot where he's doing a fucking spin to Sammy, and then Jericho catches him with a Judas effect, like a diving, jumping Judas effect.
He missed.
Never mind that.
Missed.
I know what the idea was.
Look, he had to get it again because he realized he missed.
I know what the energy was behind it. I like the idea. I saw what she was going for, Jericho.
I don't know why he didn't time it where he just did the Judas effect to the back of his head. That would have been more efficient because like you have to like jump over. You have to clear Sammy who you have to jump over and then also hit him. And it's like just do it to the back of his head. Give him the hidden Judas effect. That would have worked even more. Effective. But I thought what Jericho was going for with Sammy was ill-conceived. Like, for right or wrong, the crowd does not like Sammy. Them trying to do the thing where Jericho is an asshole and is big leaguing Sammy and is overlooking Sammy and thinks Sammy's going to be a complacent lapdog. Therefore, as the match plays out, Jericho's going to take advantage of that and eventually get Sammy to, stick up for himself in a 4-way. That was the story he was going for, but the crowd didn't give a fuck about Guevara, or they hated him the most out of all 4 of them. So when that was happening, it just wasn't working in that little character way. But outside of that, the match was great. It was really great. I was at 4.5, just like you are. But like outside of that little miss, like everything was on point in this match. In the miss with Jericho, the Judas effect, but like outside that it was great, and it was really fun to see like Danielson and Cesaro just like they're so fucking awesome. It was just fun to see them just basically go nuts.
I just want to know how many more 4.5 star matches Sammy Guevara got to have until until people like stop lying, or get over whatever they got with this dude. It did not help that he came out dressed like a sex dungeon operator.
It didn't, but I also didn't know what the fuck that was exactly. Did anyone ever figure it out?
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, what he was going for.
I don't know what he was going for.
Like what that was in reference to.
Yeah, I don't know, but just like it's been a good last month for that guy in the ring. So I'll take those matches. So. Saraya and Britt Baker. Man.
This match stunk in execution. This match stunk in storytelling. And it was dull. Like, I get it. She hasn't wrestled for 4 or 5 years because of her bad neck. And their first idea was, let's do the WWE thing of attack the neck and have her act as if she's actually hurt to get you the hushed tones that Michael Cole would give you over commentary of, I can't believe she's going to do this. She's going to persevere and fight through. And then you're in the middle of the match and it is what it is. The problem is, like, we know kind of that like it's fake, and if she's cleared, she might not be feeling the best to do it, but like she's of good enough health to actually do this. So like if you want to work the neck in the middle of the match and play that into the story of like Britt does a neck crank or something in like the last or the second third of the match and through, and tease near falls off of submissions on the neck, sure, but they just wrong place, wrong time, wrong promotion to be doing it like this, and like it suffered greatly. And then it was a lot of just crummy wrestling that went for like 13 minutes.
Man, all I can say is Britt Baker is an absolute pro. Another clean job for Britt, a woman who apparently never puts anybody over and is selfish and is this fucking monster at Albatross. And then Saraya comes out and says Britt Baker basically led her through, every aspect of this whole entire thing, from the promos to the match, and was able to, the level Saraya was able to get to was, largely due to, Britt's professionalism and stuff like that. So, Britt will never get, her credit or anything, but just thought I should mention. As far as the match, it was rough. It was RUF.
I'm looking at Brewhaven saying that Guevara is Gargano with more flips. I've never thought of them two wrestling alike at all, ever. Like Gargano's a technician and Guevara's a flip guy.
Well, I would put him with along a Ricochet.
Yeah.
I think Saraya and Britt Baker, like, I don't think this was a major league level match. And I think that's about the nicest thing I can say. So, but yeah,
this is one of the worst matches they've ever put on pay-per-view.
Yes, I hate the finish. I hate the decision for Britt to lose here, but
they're not going to bring in Saraya to have her lose her first match.
I mean,
that was the reality of it. Like, unless they're going to do a thing where, like, eventually, like, it's some King Rose shit, which I don't think they're going to be doing in the AEW Women's Division, because they never displayed to have the patience to do any of that kind of thing, to where it's like Britt beats her, and then a year later, that's a title match, and Saraya wins. Like, I don't think that's what they were going for. But that'd be the only reason to actually beat her in her first match back.
I mean, they did that with Thunder Rosa, but
in her first match,
or the first big match with Britt.
Not the same thing as the first match back after the neck thing and whatever else for 4 years in different promotion. Not the same thing.
I think it would be even more palatable because of the neck. Like, she's not all the way there. Like, if this was Japan, she'd have fucking lost.
This ain't Japan.
It should be.
Like, we just talked about how this card was like, it was all wonky because they put the best matches in the first, two of the three best matches, like, in the first two matches, and then, like, went from there. Like, this ain't Japan. It's just not.
TNT title 3-way, Samoa Joe defeating Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs. This was kind of just there for me. Like, this was in the aftermath of the previous match. I thought it was okay. I didn't think this was bad or anything, but it was just kind of there. Joe's a double champion now. I guess maybe like this, like, well, obviously they got one goal accomplished. They got a belt off of Wardlow without pinning him. Hobbs was in there for that. I agree with your point about a singles match between any combo of these people would have been better. I think this is a victim of AEW trying to get a lot of people on the card. And, Hobbs
showed up, 20 or 18 days ago or something like that. And they got injected into this thing like 2.5 weeks ago. Like, I don't know. Like, I has Joe been on every pay-per-view since he showed up that he wasn't like doing the filming thing?
He was on Double or Nothing. He was on
Revolution because he lost to Adam Cole. Or not Revolution.
Double or Nothing.
That was okay. Yeah, Double or Nothing. Okay.
And I don't think he was on All Out.
But I think it was because he was filming.
Yeah, and then there's this one. So, yeah.
So maybe, maybe it's a thing where they were like, we have to get him on or whatever else, and this is how we get him on as opposed to do a tag match or whatever. I don't know. They could have They could have done the Wardlow and Joe thing a little longer, but whatever.
They're probably headed towards each other for Final Battle. If it's me, I'm pulling Wardlow from all this shit and like trying to recapture the feeling, like and sending him on a charge towards Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed was like as he's doing the Powerbomb Symphony thing with Hobbs, it's over, but it's not nearly as over as it was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, and I think they should like really look into that and figure out what happened. Like, and there was a lot of stuff like him mentioning that he didn't want to go after the fake title, but never actually going after the real one.
And now that CM Punk's out of the company, that's out the window.
There's I think there's a lot of like soul searching as far as the Wardlow push to go, because like if you want somebody like, you know, like especially like with the people that MJF's already kind of come across with is built in. If you're gonna go with someone like, obviously they've changed his belt. We'll get to it in the main event, but they've changed his belt from like what it was into something else now. So like, why can't they change it into something else again? So we'll get there. But up next,
quick question.
Okay. Yeah.
Now that like it seems like Luchasaurus is done with, like, why don't they just do like a Keith Lee Dijak thing with Wardlow and Luchasaurus? Like, 'cause they had that lumberjack match and it was fun as hell. Like
they did.
They could just
run it bike, DJ.
Yeah, they could do that. That would showcase Wardlow in a way. 'Cause like you saw some of the stuff he was doing in the match, and it just felt like he wants to do this sort of stuff, but like he's in a Hoss 3-way battle. You know, and it's Joe, and he's older, and you know, it was like I would keep him and Hobbs as like have a generational rival with him, like one of his generational rivals. Mm-hmm. But we got to try to find more people for Wardlow to, you know, like throw down with if you're going to actually heat him up and get him to where he kind of was, you know, earlier in the year. Yeah.
Memphis TNA tag match here. The Hoodlums, Darby Allin and Sting.
That's right. Was that Taz that called them the Hoodlums?
They called themselves Hoodlums, bro.
Okay.
Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, and it ruled, as I said it would. This is a match that featured a positive and reverent TNA chant, which I didn't know those things existed.
I rolled my eyes. I was like, I can't believe that we were getting TNA chants on AEW television.
And it's not like a bad thing. It's just like, oh, Double J.
I couldn't tell. Maybe because I took it. I didn't even think about it in that way. I was just like, this probably isn't good. That this shit TNA. I left it at that.
But lots of sick spots. Memphis brawling all around the arena. When Satnam Singh caught Darby Allin out of midair and saved his life, I was impressed. I was like, I can't believe this guy. This guy is like, that shit is insane. What happened? And then he threw him like 20 feet after that on the ramp and all that.
Yeah, camera direction accidentally caught Singh walking, like you can catch him like walking from the back like towards the thing. I was like, oh, Singh's gonna catch him, but it was a split second, just barely missed. But I saw him coming. But yeah, it was like the crowd loved it. It was impressive. It was like, obviously, Darby's a small guy, but still, he's dropping. He obviously not dropping from 25 feet like they said he was, but he's dropping from probably like 15, 18 feet. Like that ain't exactly the easiest thing in the world just to catch that dude and then like Darby
all in one motion, just
right, all in one motion, and managed to keep Darby from like breaking a bone in his foot or something stupid. So yeah, it was like Sting doing the dive out of the off the stands or whatever else, and like it looked like he overshot his target and he was about to go over the top on Singh, and luckily like Lethal had grabbed the leg so he didn't like flip over. And I was like, boy, we are really cutting it close. We are really cutting it close with all this stuff.
Bro, the Sting Darby finish, the Scorpion Death Drop with the fucking coffin drop on top of it.
Yeah.
Aces. Love it. This
Sting turning the lethal injection to a immediately fast Scorpion Death Drop, but obviously Sting lost his balance.
Yeah.
And it looked almost like as if he got concussed on it at the end, but whatever. He was able to pull it off enough to where it looked like it was on purpose.
Darby Allin being the one to no-sell the Jeff Jarrett guitar. That was like a spiritual rite of passage right there. And, we were all waiting for Sting to do it, but Darby got to do it. So, as I mentioned earlier, good night for the Pillars. Darby and Sting get to win. This was a blast. Up next, AEW Women's World Title match. Jamie Hayter defeats Toni Storm to become the new interim champion. I like this match a lot, especially in the second half. I thought they were hitting. I think there was some blood in this.
Yeah, they're exchanging forearms, and Jamie caught her on the nose, and you could tell because they stopped the action, and the refs ducked in for a second, and Jamie pulled off a elbow, and then it seemed as Toni was like, "Yeah, I'm fine," and to get out of it, she just hits her headbutt thing. But yeah, it was, and then she was, her nose was busted. I don't know if it was broken, but it was definitely busted. But yeah, it was really good match. I didn't like the finish of all the interference at the end. I felt like it really undercut a lot of what they were trying to do. If you're going to actually put the belt on Jamie and she's going to get this kind of reaction, let her get the reaction instead of the whole thing was well, is she actually a worthy champion? A worthy interim champion.
I would say the thing with that is it's not like Jamie was conscious of all that help that was happening. That stuff was happening not to her knowledge. So I would say that's the out for her. And eventually she'll have to address.
Oh, but she's friends with Britt, so she's still a heel.
She's still a heel, yeah.
Right. So the thing for me is well, if people actually like her, despite her hanging around some heels, can she get a win over Toni Storm? I've seen Toni Storm put her back on the mat for 3 seconds in this company before. I don't think she's unbeatable. Why couldn't they just beat her? Maybe this sets up a rematch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they were into Jamie in a big way. So yeah. I'll take the L on that. So, this is what happens when the second person in the unit wins the world title. So that's an interesting dynamic to
they
to
leave
explore
and start
there.
Faction.
They leave and become the star on their own for years and years, like Batista. Shingo Takagi, he's just kind of he gets his main event and then he's wrestling for a trophy for half the year. So there's a lot of examples here. So we'll see which way this goes. AEW World Tag Team Title match. The Acclaimed take on Swerve in Our Glory. And James, we were wrong. We was wrong. Acclaim got the win here. I would say this was better than the second match. Not that first match I think they had was a moment in time. It is hard to recapture the spirit they had that night, but I think they did all a pretty good job here. They had, I love the Acclaim's gear. I love, I imagine someone was coping and seething, seeing all that pink and white being worn with the black trim at the house as he was watching and not on the show.
CM Punk?
No. A man with a mustachioed man.
CM Punk's goons. Gotcha. Okay.
And then, Swerve and Lee, this turned out to be the explosion where Keith Lee Swerve smacks Keith Lee in the face during this. I would say, unwise decision. Understatement. So Swerve on his own with that. I will not be of assistance in trying to scrap with Keith Lee. I have no interest in that. But this is a really good match as well. I probably go 4 stars on this one. I think that the Acclaim are here to stay. If that like if one thing came out of this match, as far as like, I think Max and them, they did their best music video the week before, or on the Go Home show. They're selling lots of merch. They are popping quarter hours. I think going away from these guys from a business perspective right now and how over they are, it's not the time. Like I kind of see that, especially like what it looks like is waiting for Swerve and Lee on the other side. And I think this presents an issue because, there's just like, we'll call the elephant in the room, but like there were like, obviously everyone wants FTR to immediately fight these guys, right? But that ain't good for FTR. I'm telling y'all right now, like it's not good for them. Like they are, the way they're conducting themselves on Twitter, it's off-putting as fuck. You could turn them.
It's been like that for years. It's been like that when they were in WWE.
You could turn them, right, and make them heel, but no one really I don't think people want to boo them because they're over to their own degree too. But as far as like, it feels unprofessional. It feels like, I feel like FTR has a lot of other things to do. Like they have
3 different titles.
Yeah, right. And as I mentioned on this show, I can never see them winning all 4 belts. Like it's not happening. It's too, like, I feel like there's too much like that's not going to be able to line up. Like they missed the window if they were going to do that. And quite frankly, I kind of like better what we got in the outset than that. Like honestly, because like the Acclaim like kind of just rose out of nowhere. It's been a great story with those guys. We got an excellent feud between Swerve and Our Glory and the Acclaimed. Quite frankly, like a tag team feud in this promotion, like a self like kind of contained feud like this hasn't really happened in the company. The Young Bucks and Lucha Bros rivalry is like a career-long rivalry that they have like one big match a year, aside from like this series that's about to come up. They have like one big match a year that's like a match of the year candidate, and then they go their separate ways and they bring them back together. But this was like, as a contained thing with multiple matches, like this is one of the best ones in the company's history, I think. And
just might be the only one.
Yeah.
Because like this is more traditional American television storytelling program, whereas like we do this and then we keep going back to it for like 2-3 months. AEW normally didn't do that. It was kind of cycle people through or whatever else and move people on to other things and have these kind of matches. But like I think with the tag division kind of being thinner than it had been, with like Santana being out, with the Young Bucks being out, I felt like they went with this. And like it did wonders for the Acclaimed. And I think it did wonders for Swerve and Lee. Like, but I kind of now it's like similar thing. We was like, all right, so what's next for the Acclaim? Interesting to see who they come up with next. Like, I mean, as far as a real program, like you can throw best friends at them for a match, sure, whatever else. But I wonder what's like their next big match. Like, what are they going to be doing at like say Winter is coming, like in a match. I'm interested to see, but like Swerve and Lee, like I'm happy because I'm getting that.
Yeah, I feel like Swerve's on the verge of like creating something. Like he's being very cryptic on Twitter. Like it feels like something's happening.
Also, something I noticed during the match is like Keith Lee was in this match a lot longer than he had been in most Keith Lee Swerve matches. Mm-hmm. I noticed that and I was like, I wonder what this is about. And then this happens. It's like, oh, okay, I see what you're establishing him as the babyface and everything. And as this thing goes through, and then they had the breakup. So yeah, I see why he was in there more than normal.
Yeah. So another good match here. Clean move on. Be interested to see what they got going, but I can't get mad with either of these guys. Like as far like what the Acclaim is kind of contributing,
it's not for me, but people love it, so whatever.
Yeah, so like
it's too unserious for me. Like, it amused me at times, like when they did the whole stuff with before they all reunited, like when like Billy Gunn went with his actual sons, and like Bones like, you know, looking up at Billy, he's like, "Are you gonna?" Like, that was fucking hilarious. Like, that absolutely amused me. It absolutely did. But they're for me, for my liking, what I want to pro wrestling, they're a bit too unserious for me.
World title match, main event. MJF takes on Jon Moxley, defeats him, and becomes the new AEW World Champion. This was a good match. I think
it's weird.
I think it was definitely weird, and I guess we got the answer to all the weirdness that was leading up to this thing. Like, there's a shoe that has to drop, and it did. With Regal being the one to sell out Jon Moxley, and by extension the group that was designed to be a worship squad to his philosophy of pro wrestling or whatever. All that shit is out of here now. He hands MJF the Nux. MJF is like, the whole dynamic of this thing is fucked. It's very confusing. But as I mentioned, I was kind of in this thing more for what it represented rather than what it actually was. Like, MJF's 26 years old. He's, you know, like, it's the first pillar to win the world belt, which is cool. And this was like a stamp on him that he's going to be able to wear the rest of his career. You know, I was 26 years old, first time I was world champion, And, you know, he's got the talk game. He's got the wrestling game. However, if it's going to, like, I don't even want to say if it devolves into a bunch of bullshit regarding all his finishes, because we know that's where it's going. Like that's where it's going. That's what it is. And it's like, you know, he has the ability to, like if it was me, I wanted just the clean, you know, the clean match or whatever, and for him to raise it up, and he could have just, you know, kept himself, you know, dastardly on the mic or anything like that, because like the more, like, you know, he does bullshit, the more people are going to cheer for him. So it's like, it's a bad situation for like whoever's going to face him. But he's a hot hand right now. I think you got to try him out at the top. And it really means a lot that he was able to come in 3 years, was able to rise to the level he's gotten to. He's been, you know, you talk about people that are great at TV, like he'll put feuds out like classic albums. Typically, like, they'll just be back to back to back. And, you know, I hope his output increases. Like, we actually see him wrestling more. Hopefully that's the way they go with it. But I'm interested to see, you know, where it goes there. So, you know, I don't know. A couple comments there. If he wins clean, fans will cheer him anyway. They'll look at Roman. I don't know, man. I don't think I'm interested in like
different promotion, different fans,
Like, I'm not interested in like trying to recreate that or reflect that in AEW
at all.
Like, like as far as, you know, heels getting cheered, Kenny Omega was the champion, but he definitely showed a lot of ass. Like,
and he wasn't getting overwhelmingly cheered over baby faces,
right? And it was like, he was clearly still being a heel. He was like, he obviously has his, like, you know, his core fan base and stuff like that. But when it's time to like build up, like, you know, like a Hangman or something like that, he's playing the role. Like, and MJF, it's like they just put the belt on him. Like, I don't feel he truly ascended. Like,
no,
like, it's just like, this was a decision that was made. Ironically, kind of like The Rock at Survivor Series 98. Like, this is a decision that was made. He's going to have the belt, and then hopefully he grows into whatever he's going to become as the champion. For me, I like people to already kind of be established, but it's not the way it happened. You know, I think Moxley kind of deserved a little bit more from this crowd. than they gave him. But I do, I want to get James's thoughts in here, and then I'll go ahead and give Moxley's eulogy, because I finally wrote it up for him, like after those, like the wacky kind of summer he's had. So
if this is what MJF's main event matches are going to be, then no thanks. So much of this build was him trying to play this tweener line, and him, you know, sometimes doing it well, other times being clumsy with it. But Moxley was kind of sweeping up his messes at times by saying, like, ultimately, you're going to be in the ring with me, and whatever, you know, thing you're going through, whatever else, it's going to be fine, because you're going to have to prove it against me inside those ropes. And most of the match, I don't know if this is due to audibles being called because of how the reactions both of them were getting, but watching this match in general was that, like, MJF is not up for the challenge at all. And it got close, or sorry, it got desperation time, and he immediately went to the ring. And Regal came out there and said, "Don't use the ring. You said that you're going to show what you were worth. Don't use the ring." So, you know, in what do you call it? In a fashion, in an FU type of fashion, he threw the ring. So they end up where, you know, so then you get fucking ref bumps, 2 ref bumps in a row. And Moxley has the match. He's about to go win it, or he had the match won. He had the match won. He had the match won. He had the bully choke. MJF tapped out. So
quick.
Yeah, like, so the whole entire, you know, story that Moxley's going for was that, like, I'm gonna show you what you're up for, and he did not pass the test any way, shape, or form. And then even with MJF, like, showing like one bit of, you know, he one time only, he doesn't take the easy way out on his own accord. There's Regal to give him the fucking brass knucks, and he goes and he uses it, and now he's the champion, and it's like, okay, so nothing changed whatsoever.
It's just going to be a lot of shit talking, we saw some of it in the scrum last night. Cut like a 2-minute promo, just swearing up a storm, and complete, like, you know, people were into this, man, like, and they've been into him for a long time, and I've been into MJF for a long time and all that, but, like, I think I feel like some type of ascension should have taken place, and I don't think that necessarily happened.
I'm not too caught up on the ascension thing or whatever else, because, like, he's already a top star in the company, so whether he got the belt or not, whether he's an ace or whatever, I'm not too concerned with that conversation right now as this moment. But the thing for me is, like, all of his matches, no one ever wins. No one ever really wins. And it's like, whether he wins or whether he loses, no one ever beats anybody. And it's like, bro, it's been 3 years of this. Like, either put someone over or get put over. Enough of this bullshit of people have these excuses or for another reason for another match. There will always be another reason for another match. It's called time passing. You want to see a great match again. What the fuck? So, like, for me, he's great at so many aspects of this. This 80 or this Carney shit, I'm over it. I'm just over it. And, like, he literally told this story, or they literally put out the story, this storyline between the two. They're like, we want to see what he's made of. And it's like, he's made of the same shit he's always been made of. So I'm not interested in any of these.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. So I'm not interested in any of the stuff, any of these things going forward unless he starts changing. Like, would a match be fine or be great even? I'm sure they will, because he's a good ass wrestler. But, like, I'm just can't be invested in this kind of stuff. Like, it's just like, okay, bro, like, it's every single time it's the same thing. Like, the banana in the tailpipe, right? Like, I'm just, this shit doesn't move me. Same reason why I'm not interested in Jay White's matches. Or Evil's matches. Like, obviously, his matches are a lot better than Evil's matches. But you get my point. It's like, it's the same fucking thing over and over and over again. Like, bro, like, this isn't what I invested time into watching. I didn't sit down to see somebody get screwed or whatever and move on to the next match where the next person gets screwed and like you get screwed, then like you screw the next person, whatever. Like it's just a never ending cycle of like unsatisfying stuff. I don't want to watch something that keeps me dissatisfied. It's a waste of my time.
Yeah, it's I'll get to so Jon Moxley's AEW Championship eulogy. Jon Moxley was the defining champion of AEW in 2022. Winning an interim championship, unifying, and then winning the championship again cemented what can be looked at as his second real run with the championship as he marched towards Wrestler of the Year status, displaying incredible fighting spirit against a variety of opponents and resilience, bouncing back from his struggles in his personal life at the end of 2021. Moxley was a steady hand that AEW turned to in times of crisis surrounding CM Punk, whether it was injury or backstage issues that ended up affecting Punk's status. He was able to step into several main events, such as matches against Hiroshi Tanahashi, and most recently, the presumed restart of CM Punk versus MJF. Throughout the year, Moxley performed at a level unseen in his career thus far and took the troubling times as a personal challenge on and off screen, according to various reports. His classic promo about what the AEW Championship represented on the Dynamite After All Out caused James Boyd of One Nation Radio to declare that that speech should be inscribed on the inside of the AEW Championship. Whether he was in AEW, New Japan, or GCW, Moxley wrestled like a man possessed, spilling blood all across the country in rings he didn't have to appear in. He displayed a spirit for pro wrestling that any fan could represent or respect, as he looked refreshed and as if he had a second lease on his career following his absence in late 2021. Along with Bryan Danielson, he added up the Blackpool Combat Club, which included recruits Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. His mentor, William Regal, ended up selling him out, which leaves him with an interesting fallout in his immediate future as a single and as a group. If there was a down point of his reign, it was feeling like he was walking in the shoes meant for someone else, whether it was Forbidden Door or recently at AEW Full Gear. He filled them admirably, but ended up in a dynamic with MJF where he was drawing heavy boos the night he dropped the championship, despite blatant cheating by his opponent and being turned on. While I don't expect those boos to stick, it may have been a reflection of his final program as champion at this time. All in all, Moxley picked up a few championship reigns that maybe were not meant to happen, but maximized his minutes on top, with the peak being his squash of CM Punk, which ensured he'd enter the record books as his interim championship reign helped carry AEW through a turbulent summer season. Moxley losing the championship will give him a chance to refresh himself lower on the card or in a different role, even possibly as a villain, which could give him the chance to right one of the major wrongs of his career. Sam Brown.
Call him out by name.
But yeah, that's what I thought of Mox as a champion. So MJF, let's see what you got. You got to go with him. Like he made himself one of the hottest names in pro wrestling. He's obviously tremendously gifted, super talker. People want to try this route. I can't begrudge him for trying it.
They had to do it eventually.
Yeah. So, and you know, it's good for what it represents. It allows more youth to enter the main event scene. So MJF can, even reach down and pick people up. He can pick the pillars up. He can pick the imports in. These are all people he can defend against. And then of course, there's still the old reliable class that's still there. So, I like youth with the championships. I feel like we're going forward rather than behind or going backward with MJF. So that's cool.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to wrestle Takeshita. He doesn't want to wrestle New Japan wrestlers.
Well, luckily for him, Takeshi's for DDT.
But it's the same logic of neck dumping and stuff like that he doesn't want to do. So he's not going to do it. It was funny watching him wrestle Moxley and they're just trading forearms in the middle. And it was like...
It looked soft.
Yeah, I was like, he Moxie's fucking smoking him, and you're just returning. I was like, well, and I kind of get an idea. Obviously, it's part of the story, but it's like I kind of see why you don't want to wrestle strong style, if you will. Yeah, Takeshita. I mean,
I'd love it, but
I don't think it doesn't seem like the kind of wrestling he's interested in doing. So like, why do it?
Yeah. But yeah,
have they done MJF? Have they done MJF and Jungle Boy before?
Yes, they did MJF and Jungle Boy Double or Nothing 2020, and that was awesome. That was when
I remember the Darby stuff. I don't remember that one for some reason.
Yeah, that one they were doing Canadian Destroyers and that shit. Like, it was pretty good. They basically had a PWG match.
Okay,
and it was like, oh, so when you wrestle the young guys, you wrestle for real. Like, okay, gotcha. So hopefully that trend continues. But yeah, as far as any other news, do you want to do the Kenny and Ospreay stuff now?
The what?
Or the Kenny never mind. I don't know if you've seen the news, but like it's everywhere. So we will kick that to Monday. So but yeah, man, this is gonna be a hell of a couple of months to come. We've got to start organizing the One Nation Radio Awards. I think I've got to start putting all that stuff together in the coming weeks and try to get it done a little quicker than normal. Sometimes like we get it to February and all that, but yeah, lots of stuff to consider and think about. But yeah, man, I thought overall this like kind of was a show that was kind of needed at the time. Kind of reset the roster. There's lots of new directions to go in, and I'm excited to start taking people other ways a little bit.
Yeah, great show. Like I have issues with the last 3 matches being so heavy on direction over match, but whatever. They felt the need to do so, and we'll see where they end up going. And obviously, they're gonna have some really good TV off the Moxley Regal thing. Regardless of how I think that like there was a lot more juice they could have got out of that squeeze, but we're here now already, so whatever.
Yeah, rename the group, figure it out.
I think I saw a video. Yeah, I saw a video of like Yuta and Claudio and Danielson telling Moxie what happened in the ring, and Moxie is like, "What?" He's like, "You're shitting me." He slammed the fucking son of a bitch. Like, yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be
real hustling backwards, boy.
That's gonna be interesting. Like, I mean, you saw how Kingston and Moxley were like giving the Elite all kinds of hell back in 2020. Regal can't like get out the way and move out of the way of cars and danger like they can. Like this was a mistake. This was a mistake. It's gonna be interesting to see how this TV gonna work out. Cause man, like if we cause look,
MJF got to form a whole new faction.
We have
again.
Yeah. Look, we have seen John Moxley / Dean Ambrose / Jonathan Good be portrayed on as a babyface on television, and I gotta say, it is some of the most fun things you've ever seen. Because this man will come out of it, jump out of anywhere and beat your ass, right? So like, it's on. Ask Seth Rollins about a motherfucker come out of Christmas box and beat his ass. Like it's it's going to be interesting to see the ways that man's going to get a hold of a Regal. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't have anything else here, but make sure you guys are downloading the individual show, all that. So yeah, besides that,
yeah,
we wrap this thing up.
Yep. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate on whatever app you're using to listen to this with. If you're watching from the stream, go to the PayPal or go to the Cash App and drop it off with a donation there. If you're listening from the listen to the podcast, you can go to the show notes or show description. You can go to our Rare Circle and find a link to our donations there. And listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. You have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Show, Grown Men Watch This Shit, The Grave Consequences, 8-Bit Suplex, All things elite, great match generator, get in the ring, meet the press slam in AEW Match Guide. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Back tomorrow night with Keepin It Strong Style.
Yes. That is going to be fun.
Let the horns off.
If you might want to tune in. You might want to tune in to Keepin It Strong Style / Keepin It Strong Style or / One Nation Radio for our basically a simulcast or simul recording, if you will. We're going to basically, for story crossover, we're just basically going to like use the same audio. It will be entertaining. It will be fun. Like you will get a good laugh out of it.
They don't put all four of us. Consider this a warm up for the FOH draft. So, we try to keep ourselves apart. Like Sean and Brett. We don't try to overexpose Keepin It Strong Style One Nation Radio. But when we come together, it's like what's that shit called? Like
fusion.
That's it. The fusion thing. So.
Yeah. Rich talking about anime. It's time to wrap this up. Holler at y'all later.
When you drive the brand ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power, you can stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Visit your local Kia dealer today to see yourself behind the wheel of the brand ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Kia received the fewest reported problems among all brands in the J.D. Power 2022 U.S. Vehicle Dependability Study based on 2019 models. See jdpower.com/awards for 2022 details.
Black Friday deals. The gifts are unreal.
Shop JCPenney for thousands of deals so low, no coupons needed. Through Sunday, get up to 75% off fine jewelry. Bring home Cooks and Black & Decker kitchen electrics, now $22.99, plus $10 mail-in rebate. And get Memorex home electronics starting at $27.99. We got your holiday.
Shop, JCPenney.
Offers valid on select items through 11/27. Excluded from coupons. Conditions and exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.